Yeah, no issue with language or sex.
Well, that's good to know.
Right. Absolutely. Now, to come to the present, American Pie presents The Book of Love. How exactly did you get the role in that movie? Now, how did you go from being in Bark Out a Room to this, to American Pie? I mean, that name, I don't think there's not a man, woman, or child who hasn't heard the franchise itself, American Pie. So how did you get the role in that movie?
It was just auditioned. Although I wasn't living in LA at the time, I was still, this is last year. No, not last year, sorry. Early this year, I'd say January, so something like that. And I was putting auditions on tape because, when I'm not in LA, I can't go into the room in person, obviously. So I was putting auditions on tape and sending them to my manager, who would then send them to the casting director, and they would evaluate me based on that. So I would just put myself on tape. My mom always read for me, and got the part. And it was just as simple as that. They liked my read, and I took that opportunity to pick up and move to LA, because that gave me the financial stability to do that. So, yeah, it just kind of worked out.
Now, how long of a production period was American Pie lasting?
I was 6 weeks in Vancouver, which is like, they film a lot of stuff there, and it was just fun. 6 weeks of fun. I was on set maybe like 4 out of 5 days a week, but it was great. 6 weeks. That was pretty much it.
Not bad.
They punch them out. They punch them out fast when there's not much, special effects wise, I guess.
Oh, now my question is: now you got to do you were seen in one single frame with two of my idols, Eugene Levy and Tim Matheson. I just have to ask, what was that like?
It was cool. It was because there's a whole period of the movie where there are all these cameos from all these actors, and it was like I try to focus and think, okay, do my job, but at the same time, it's I feel like a little kid, like, wow, these are guys I never thought I'd meet, let alone work with, even if it's just a scene, it was really, really cool. By that point, I'd gotten over what kind of starstruck stuff that I had. Like the first time I met a celebrity was Cheryl Hines on Bark Out a Room, and she was like, "Oh, hi, I'm Cheryl." And she was real nice and shook my hand. And the first thing I said was like, "Oh, hi, I love you and Curb Your Enthusiasm." Like that was all I could say. I was real embarrassed, but I got over that. Yeah. Anyway. At any time when I'm talking, feel free to cut in, because I tend to get really fast-paced when I talk. So just interrupt me, please.
No, actually, we like that. No, that's fine. All right. Next question is: besides the actors that you've worked with, William H. Macy, Cheryl Hines, Eugene Levy, and all those other guys, are there any other celebrities outside of your movies that you have met? Any other big names out there that you've met at all?
Besides people I've worked with, no. Although I've met some Curtis Armstrong, who is, you might recognize him as Booger in Revenge of the Nerds. He was in American Pie, and I also worked with him again, like weeks later, on an Adam Sandler produced film, and he was such a cool guy. Like it was my first experience, working with someone and then working with him again. It's like, oh wow, you feel like you ran into an old friend. It's he's really nice, but really it's just people I've worked with so far. Okay, you know what? Scratch that. Reverse it. No, strike that. Reverse it. All right. I did meet David Henry, he's the lead kid in Wizards of Waverly Place. He's a friend of Bug Hall's, and I hung out with him a couple times. He's really nice. He's a cool guy. Played Beatles rock.
He seems pretty fun. My sister's a big Disney Nickelodeon person. Everything. I watch a little bit of Wizards of Waverly Place with her. Yeah. Well, Nickelodeon and Disney.
Oh, you're right.
I watch a little of that with her, and he seems pretty fun.
He's a cool guy. Well, besides that, I don't really have any celebrity stories. I'm sorry to disappoint you. I'm kind of a shut-in.
No, it's okay. Now, after American Pie presents A Book of Love and how far you've come, are there any other projects that you are currently working on? Can we expect you in any other movies coming out, maybe in theaters or other things, other projects?
After, during the filming of American Pie, I put myself on tape for a movie that's co-written and co-produced by Adam Sandler, and it was co-written by Nick Swardson, the stand-up comedian, and that movie's called Born to Be a Star. That'll come out Labor Day next year, and that'll be in theaters. I got a small part in that. That was a lot of fun. I got to meet freaking Adam Sandler. Although it was kind of, okay, this is exactly my contact with Adam Sandler. He walks in, "How you doing, buddy?" I was like, "Oh, hi." And then he watched the like the scene as we were filming it, because he's producing it too. I got to meet his friend Alan Covert, who is the lead in Grandma's Boy. He's like in all of his movies. He was an incredibly nice guy. Christina Ricci was on that set. I didn't really talk to her much. It's like when you don't have any reason to talk to somebody. I don't like approaching people like that, you know. Okay, that's coming out in 2010. I got this other part in this movie called Kid Cannabis, which is based on a true story. It's based on an article in Rolling Stone about a kid, 19-year-old high school dropout pizza delivery guy who became a drug lord by buying pot in Canada and bringing it across the border. But there's something wrong with financing for that one. They're not. I guess they got to wait for money. So
they gave it a date of 2011 on what looked like IMDb and Wikipedia.
Yeah, I asked my manager like every couple months or so, what's the deal with that? And they never, it could be 2011. I don't know. Who knows?
I guess they're just waiting to smuggle the pot from Canada.
Exactly.
For the movie.
That's exactly what they're doing. That's how they pay for everything in Hollywood. It's a little known fact. But besides that, I'm just auditioning, trying to get something else. Back in the grind, that whole thing.
Now, if I can swing back to American Pie Book of Love for a second.
Yes, sir.
Two minor questions. First of all, would you say, if we were to compare Book of Love to the first three American Pies, that your character would be closest to Finch, more or less?
Nah, I don't know. Finch, there was a certain, he was real sophisticated. He was very mature. My character is not, is kind of the opposite.
Complete opposite, right? Like Bizarro Finch.
So really, they didn't keep to that mold specifically, at least with Book of Love anyway.
They sort of, you got Bug Hall sort of playing a Jason Biggs type character. You got Kevin Horton, who played Nathan in the movie. I guess he's sort of around Kevin Myers in the first two, I guess. My character, it was time for a fat guy. They needed, they had to write him in. So,
and they found you.
Exactly. It's kind of ouch.
No. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm saying this role and how big it was. It's it just happened. It just kind of fell into your lap.
Yeah.
In a way, because after you sent in your audition tape and you went through the process and you went through the red tape, it just went from there.
Yeah, and it's it's the kind of character they're looking for. Like the way I'm built. I tend to go for those kinds of roles. I'm trying to lose weight to try and get out of that, because it's you don't want to get trapped. I get kind of worried about that sometimes.
Actually, sort of.